year out, 3-10 record, finished 10th in the Big 12, and now look at them, 9-2 in the Big 12, and they're trying to look to continue to progress and be a nationally ranked program as they are right now, 11th in the nation. We're off and running at 125 pounds, a matchup the many circled when they saw this dual schedule come out. Jorge Volk and Tanner Jordan. Volk ranked 4th, Jordan 14th. Chaz,
Volk
starting a duel, what do you look to do to kind of get momentum for your team?
Definitely, again, you just want to show some fight, and that's something that Volk brings to every single match. He's very exciting. He's not going to hang out in ties too long. As you can see, he's going to be heavy in those collar ties, and even when they're ear to ear here, you see him digging underhooks, and right there he goes. He passes that underhook in on a shot. Doesn't take long. It's going to elevate here. Again, Jordan doing a great job in this waterfall position. Volk certainly
pressure here on Volk to come out the gates and get some points early.
Absolutely, you don't want to let this position end in a stalemate like it does now. Again, that's a position where you have advantage, and gaining advantage on good top-ranked guys is a difficult thing to do. Let's see if he can get back to his legs here.
Volk had a quality freshman season last year, recording 21 wins, qualified for his first NCAA tournament as the 21st seed. He's picked up where he's left off and had some chance to.
Ooh, very nice attack here from Jordan, clearing that elbow pass into the shot. Again, Volk's in a decent position here, sit in the corner. He's going to want to put pressure forward and not let Jordan sit up as he does. Again, can't let this end in a stalemate here, but as we're getting close to the edge of the mat, it may. One thing I've noticed about Volk is that he very, very rarely concedes takedowns. He's going to fight and make it very difficult on this ref to call 3 points.
Sees flexibility there as well, as able to stretch and is off the mat. They return to center.
Again, back in this tie-up position. Volk's going to look for an underhook here, ideally, but with 30 seconds left, it's kind of silly to take too much of a risk, but again, you do want to score at the end of the period. Again, back in on shots.
Sprawl by Volk. 15 seconds remains in the period.
A lot of action for a 0-0 scoreboard here.
And we'll take that score into the second. Choices Jordan's. He'll defer. And
Volk chooses down with again, a very unique referee's position here.
See Volk take that position. What's the purpose of kind of sprawling that leg out that way?
That's a great question. It's kind of puzzled me as well. Guys really have trouble riding him. Again, he lost a very close match to Poulin from UNC last week, starting in that position as well. But again, not a whole lot of guys have been able to hold him down, and there he goes, earns his escape.
So Volk on the board.
I gotta think if I'm coming on top of a guy like that in a referee's position, it's gonna mess with me a little bit. Just something you don't see very often.
Is that something that you would pick up on tape when you're scouting?
I might note it. I might not make it a huge point, but if I'm a coach, I might make my athlete aware of, like, hey, this guy's gonna start funky. Don't let it rattle you. Make sure you get your first move off. Not sure what the break in action here is.
Breaks like this by the official tend to favor, in my opinion, the road team. The altitude obviously a little different for a lot of people that come into Laramie, and South Dakota State, no different.
Yeah, absolutely. That oxygen is a little thinner up here. I don't know the elevation in Brookings, but again, these guys are in such great shape. 7 minutes hard is most guys are going to have no problem with adjusting. But again, it can get to you if you let it.
Right now, Volk up 1. Very tightly contested, and feels like a chess match. These two individuals just trying to figure each other out right now.
That's kind of what 125 pounds have been like throughout the whole country. You see super competitive matches with guys ranked in the top 4, and there's Volk in on a beautiful shot. Had him look like dead to rights, but Jordan, with the scrambling ability of his own, hanging on. Again, not conceding a takedown. Nothing comes easy here. Again, short time. You really want to see somebody score here.
5 seconds
may
remaining.
Not happen. As time runs out. Again, great action there. It's not going to get the takedown.
Love to see the flexibility of both competitors. Rarely do you see a grapevine around the neck.
Again,
Here's
right
the replay of it.
in on this shot. Has really close. Again, if reaction time wasn't a thing anymore, that might have been a takedown. But again, another result of the rule change this season. Keeps points off the board for Jordan.
So an escape by Jordan here will tie things up on the board. Volk trying to get that riding time in his favor.
Oof. Gonna be a tough position here. Volk's got to stay calm, not expose himself. Again, riding legs like that, you tend to put yourself in a little bit more danger than some other top offense. Jordan doing a good job staying on that hip, staying strong. Again, 30 seconds down. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm in this position and the bottom wrestler initiates that type of scramble where he's grabbing below my knee and grabbing the shin, and I then grab his, is that still a count? Is there still a
weird,
count?
yeah. It is. You're not really in control, are you? Right? Like in that,
Drop it down. Yeah, like if I'm initiating it on top, then certainly it's a count. But it's, again, those weird scrambles gonna make it difficult for the ref to make a super solid call there. Scramble ability.
35 seconds remaining in the last period. We're going to need points here from Jordan. Just picked up.
Just about had riding time point when he gets reversed here. Volk needs an escape to stay competitive. 3-1 here. No. Score looks wrong.
Does Volk realize it?
We see another upset at 125 pounds. Great action, great fight. This Big 12 tournament and the NCAA tournament at 125 pounds is going to be wild.
Great competition there as Tanner Jordan gets his hand raised. Picks up points for South Dakota State. Wyoming in the hole early, and that was the match everyone expected for Wyoming to get some points in, and doesn't go their way. So it is up to our round 33 matchup as Cooper Birdwell.
Birdwell's a transfer here. He's transferred from Oklahoma State, so he's a newer Cowboy. Didn't wrestle last week against UNC, but he's back in the lineup here.
On the other side, Derek Cardinal for South Dakota State. And off we go. 3 minutes on the clock for the first.
Cardinals definitely got the reach advantage here. Again, let's see if he can use that to his advantage.
Did you mention Birdwell coming from the state of Oklahoma?
Birdwell
Oklahoma
had it.
State was 5-0 in
Yes.
the 2023-2022 season.
If I remember correctly, Cooper Birdwell didn't lose a high school match. If he did, it was 1 or 2. He's an outstanding high school wrestler from Montana. Spent some time in Oklahoma State.
178-0.
178. Wow, it's incredible.
That sort of winning pedigree coming into college. You don't come with the mentality that you're afraid to see another ranked opponent standing across from you.
No, absolutely not. He's not afraid of any sort of competition. He's just got to get some offense going here to cement his position at 133 pounds. He's had a little bit of a rough start to the season, but good to see him back out here competing for the Cowboys.
On the other side, Derek Cardinal was a academic All-Big 12 first-teamer last year.
Smarty pants.
Smarty pants, staying in the books.
That seems pretty common. A lot of these guys who are disciplined in one area seems to translate in most aspects of their lives.
Did not work out for me.
No, yeah, that's something I can't say for myself either. Most of the guys are usually handling business, but
the grapevine of the leg in this position as a wrestler on the bottom in that situation. Of course, he lets go of it as soon as I start talking about it. But when you're in that position, how difficult is it to kind of break free?
It's something you have to focus on. We're right back to it. It's something you have to clear. There's a move we can trap. If Birdwell was to straighten that leg out and kind of put pressure back into it, it kind of forces that leg out from Cardinal. But again, it's something you have to address in order to advance. You can't just sit there and try to escape without addressing that ankle. Cardinal doing a great job, and then with almost a minute of riding time, up 3 points going into the second period. I gotta say, I'm a fan of the three-point takedown. I wasn't at first. I was a little skeptical, but I've seen a lot more action this season.
So Birdwell in position now. Down essentially 4.
Birdwell with a lift attempt. Again, it's going to be difficult with the guys a little bit longer than you. A little easier for Cardinal to get his hands down, and there he goes. Lets him go for an escape. Cardinal goes up 4-0.
As a competitor without the reach advantage, what are some of the things you can do to kind of mitigate the disadvantage you have?
It depends on who you're wrestling. Some people have an advantage, some people don't. You know, some guys love wrestling guys who are longer than them. I preferred wrestling the guys who were a lot shorter than me, but it's depends on what your offense is, I guess. I mean, both these guys are certainly capable.
Good question. When you talk about Derek Cardinal, we mentioned Cooper Birdwell's terrific high school record. Well, Cardinal wasn't too shabby in his high school career either. 240-30 record in his high school career. 109 of those came by fall.
My goodness. That is impressive. These guys are so. It's hard to judge the skill level here when you're wrestling each other. And again, Cardinal in on a low single, stuffed by Birdwell, and he's in on an attack of his own. When these guys are wrestling each other, you know, you don't really get a sense of how good they can be based on how tight these matches can end up. Great action there. Bummer it ended in a stalemate.
Brooks had an opportunity, or rather, Birdwell had an opportunity at a fireman's carry, which is very rare.
Yeah, I don't see it that much. I haven't seen
We'll
it in
be
a
thrilled when
while.
we see it.
Right.
10 seconds remaining in the period. Birdwell looking to put some points on the board for the third. Doesn't look like he'll get any.
Going into the third period, down 5 points. Birdwell chooses neutral. You got to assume that he's got to bring some offense here. Let's see how bad he wants the takedown. Nothing to really lose here, so why not? Why not pull the trigger and swing for the fences?
Cardinal is doing a good job of keeping that distance and using that length advantage that he has.
Absolutely. He's tying Birdwell up, not letting him move. Definitely going to kill the clock a little bit. Looks like Cardinal's picking up the pace. Again, something Birdwell's going to have to do if he wants to stay competitive in this match.
Cardinal in there definitely knows that he has the points advantage.
Yeah, and so if my opponent's letting me hang out in an underhook and I get a kill 30, 45 seconds, then it's just a smart wrestling move right there. Keep advantage. Not that he's not looking for offense like he is right now. But they're low risk, not putting himself in danger, still looking to score. It's a smart wrestler.
Under a minute in this third, 133 pounds. Birdwell and Cardinal. Cardinal up essentially 6.
Just over 30 seconds left. Birdwell's got to get some offense. Again, he chose neutral. He's got to pull the trigger. Cardinal doing a great job keeping him at bay, staying in the center, getting some offense himself. He should not get a stall call the way he's wrestling.
Birdwell's going to do it. It's got to be now. This is where it gets exciting. Cardinal a little too smart here, not going to give himself up.
Great takedown there at the end. Not enough time to close the gap. Jackrabbits go up 6-0 on the Cowboys.
Good effort in the end by Cooper Birdwell. Maybe attacked a little too much time, or too little time.
Too little time. I got to see that action right at the start of the third period. You know, got to put the pressure on this guy. You know, I've been in a lot of situations where I'm winning and my opponent's bringing that pressure, and you add that extra anxiety, but you're not going to bring that type of pressure with only one attack there at the end of the period.
141 pounds, Cole Brooks for Wyoming and Clay Carlson for South Dakota State.
Yeah,
Here
this is
the breakdown.
This is going to be a great matchup. Carlson. Is this Carlson or Gross? What do we got here? Got Caleb Gross. Carlson's. Doesn't look like Carlson to me. Brooks right in on a shot. Leg up in the air, trips. It's really going to want to stay away from the center. 2 points down. 3 points, rather. Again, 3-point takedown, Cole Brooks.
A good start there by Brooks, knowing his team's down. Trying to shift momentum here.
Brooks is a freshman. It's really encouraging to see his competitiveness. I don't know if you were able to see it last week. If you're interested, fans out there, you can go and check out Wyoming's Instagram, Wyoming Wrestling Instagram page. You can see Brooks' intensity during his handshake with his opponent from Northern Colorado. The stare down that he put out there was pretty intimidating. Something you definitely want to see you like seeing in a freshman. He's definitely a scrapper.
Yeah, won that 111-2, beating Rudy Lopez. Major decision for him.
Again, something really encouraging to see here is Brooks, when he's in a position fighting this tripod from Gross, he's not just cutting this guy right away. He's dropping down on an ankle, making it really tough for Gross to earn that escape. He's not. There he goes, and he concedes it after a minute of riding time. So see if he is able to keep that throughout the match.
Gross is a senior here, redshirt senior.
Little senior and freshman action going on.
Yeah. 9-7 on the year for Caleb Gross.
Again, Brooks in on the shot. He's definitely a shooter. It's what you like to see. It's what you need to see out of the guys. When you're a little outmatched on paper, you got to bring the fight to them. And that's something that Brooks is doing, he's done all season.
By the way, you mentioned that stare down that Brooks had against his opponent from Northern Colorado, Rudy Lopez. Well, Caleb Gross, that was his last competitor and lost that one in a decision 4-2.
Let's see. Oh, stall call. Stall call on Brooks. Puzzling to me, but, you know, I'm not the ref out there.
Well,
certainly looks
quick of a trigger. One of those situations where Coach Branch might have to fight for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, again, Brooks, he seems like the kind of guy who you like out there, trying to shift momentum towards your team a little bit. You're watching your teammates lose some tight matches. Brooks is coming out, pulling the trigger. Love to see it. Let's see if he can stay on top with 20 seconds left in the period. Again, he's already given up one stall call here. He's going to have to look like he's really making an effort to return him before he gives up another point.
This would be a perfect opportunity to sweep the leg.
And there he goes. He gets a stall call. Again, tough call. Tough call to make there. Certainly isn't stalling from a sense of not wrestling. But that, gosh, that's a tough one.
So Brooks up 6-2 and has the ride time as we start the second. The only 2 points were, as CP mentioned, were the stall calls. And Chaz, when you have that opportunity, you're in there, you're in the fight, and you feel like the official's kind of giving you a little bit of a raw deal, maybe, in your opinion. How do you stay mentally sharp and tough in there? Gross is doing a good job so far, but
yeah,
Brooks,
absolutely. No, yeah, you can't take anything away from Gross. He was doing the right thing. If I start out on bottom and I'm on my feet, the top man has the responsibility to return me. Mm-hmm. He's got to return me, or I'm gonna bait a stall call out. You can't let the refs affect your wrestling. All the best wrestlers don't let anything affect their wrestling. They're in there performing to the best of their ability, no matter the situation, who they're wrestling, what the ref's doing, if there's thousands of people in the stands or if it's in the practice room. Ideally, you want to stay consistent and stay attacking. So look to Brooks to keep on the offense. It looks like Gross is definitely not retreating as he's in on a scoring attempt on his own. Getting really close to the edge of the mat there. If any point of any wrestler goes off of the mat, it's a reset. I think I saw Brooks' toe touch, but we're going to let this one play out, looks like.
Definitely looks like Gross is trying to get him to that edge of the mat. Brooks doing a good job of staying put, and there it is.
Brooks a little slow to the center. Again, he's wrestled his butt off here so far. Drops down to a knee. He's got to stay on the attack.
This is where the three-point takedown just makes it so exciting for people like us watching.
Oh my gosh, me and my buddies were saying it, you know, at the beginning I was saying it we were skeptical of the 3-point takedown because we thought, you know, guys who are a little more conservative are going to be even more conservative. But those guys who are looking to put points up on the board, it's like they amped it up a little bit. Brooks leads 6-3 going into the third with 2 minutes and 27 seconds of riding time. He's got some time down there to keep that.
So that's essentially wrapped up.
Let's see here.
See how Gross plays this year.
And he's in danger here. Gross is in danger. His best bet here is to look for a stalemate and to avoid this Peterson position. Brooks gets the reversal, and did he get some swipes? I couldn't see.
I don't think he got any swipes, but definitely the reversal. Beautifully done. And with 1:20 remaining in the period right now, it's his to lose.
Again, Gross back up to that tripod position. Tripods are getting more and more common. You see it was the most common escape in all finals matches last year, and for good reason. It's very tough to defend. Brooks doing a good job dropping down. But again, when you drop down, you have about 5 swipes from the ref to work back up. So kind of a little game to be played in there. At this point, I might just cut my guy loose and not get another stall call.
"40 seconds remains.
Get back
Brooks
up to
in
this
control.
tripod position. 3 minutes of riding time, 30 seconds left. Brooks taking a very smart choice there, driving his opponent out of bounds, getting a fresh reset. It's a very mature thing to do out of a freshman. What you see a lot of times is towards the edge, and when guys are close, they just kind of let them go just like that. Brooks makes them work a little bit harder, like driving him out of bounds, getting a fresh reset.
And that took 10 seconds at least off the clock.
Yeah, that's right. It's what you want to do when you're up and kind of working that clock. Again, 4 seconds left. No need. You got a stall point to give. Just want to stay out of danger here.
Great job by Brooks picking up 3 points.
Great fight. Great fight out of Brooks. Again, he was attacking more. He took the first few shots, and he was looking for offense the whole match. It's what you want to see in your freshman. It's awesome.
Take a look at some of his work. The reversal.
This is a turning point in the match for me. Again, it's a big sigh of relief when I score a point like that when they're close, when there's a little risk of losing that position, and then having this guy come that much closer to storming back and building a comeback, and you win that scramble. Big sigh of relief, like, okay, I can just focus on holding this guy down now.
149 pounds, Gabe Willichel and Alec Martin set to do battle here.
Yeah, this is another ranked matchup that should be very exciting here.
And wasted no time right to that tie-up.
Both these guys look like they're ready to scrap. Doesn't look like they want to hold on to ties too much. Doing a good job clearing. Staying a threat here.
Willichel owns the most pins on the team right now with 5 this season.
Doesn't surprise me at all. This guy opens up and he's willing to put himself in danger to pursue points. Again, that's something you want, and it's encouraging to see that out of your freshman. Sorry, correction, redshirt sophomore. Out of a younger guy, you definitely like to see this guy. If they're in a gunfight, you know, you want to empty the chamber a little bit. You can't just keep taking 1 or 2 shots here and there. Wilshell definitely is one of those guys to empty the chamber. As Martin's in on the shot, looking to hold on for a stalemate here. Wilshell
might get one here.
Martin looked like he was getting ready to build. Gosh, the strength on that guy's grips must be insane.
Vice grip like.
My goodness.
He has a leg.
Wilshell looks like he can apply some pretty good leverage on his shoulders there. And again, these guys both getting into some funky positions. No one's conceding anything. Neither of these guys are looking for a stalemate.
Jackrabbits are calling for that to be a takedown, and there it is.
There he goes, and Wilshell right back up to his feet. Great job from Martin staying calm, and again, there's Wilshell, quick reversal there. That was slick. That was
nicely done. Able to use his momentum against him.
We have to watch that back again. I blinked. Martin back. Martin slow to the center. You hear the crowd getting after him. Yeah, that's awesome. That's something you really want to see out of your home crowd, influencing that ref a little bit.
As Martin walked back to center, mouth was wide open, gasping for breath. We talked about potentially being at elevation and how that affects visitors. This feels like the first time we've noticed that.
Yeah, and you know, it could be the elevation. It could be. It's very hard to simulate a match type environment. Guys are dealing with performance anxiety. They just cut weight. They're traveling. You know, you give up a reversal after fighting for a takedown. You feel like all that work was just negated. You know, you could see some of that. It can wear on you. You want to see Martin come back here and stay a little bit more stoic. Look to fight here. Wilshell not going to let him rest.
Wilshell working on a 3-bout win streak. A quick caution here for Wilshell, trying to time that whistle.
Wilshell back up to that tripod and on his feet again. Stay on your feet. This guy has to return you, and Martin does a great job. Threatens Wilshell with the half, but he's got the craziest flexibility ever in his shoulders there. Just kind of slips out.
You're right about the Martin grip. It does look very secure. He gets his hands on you, it's trouble.
Uh-oh.
Look out.
Imminent danger here.
You get the count. Near fall, and Wilshell was looking right at the official. Gave up 4.
It's a great job by Martin, looking for an attack when guys come up to their feet. Again, collecting that cross wrist with that iron-like grip from Martin. It's going to be tough for Wilshell to break. Again, looking for that stall. You hear the crowd getting on the ref about Martin slow to the center. I love it.
Sometimes little things like that could sway momentum.
Absolutely. When I'm out there, I want all the help I can get. If the crowd's going to help me out, that's why you like wrestling at home. Getting that cross wrist got Wilshell in danger. Martin's doing a good job of collecting it with his ironclad grip there.
40 seconds remaining here in the second. Martin up. 8-2. He has the ride time as well.
Again, there's another tilt attempt. Wilshell does a good job of staying out of danger, but he's still being held down by that cross wrist. Martin doing a fantastic job applying pressure and staying on top. He's definitely going to want to finish this period on top with only 10 seconds left in the second.
That wrist control has definitely been a problem for Willichel as we head towards the third. It's the best way of defending that when you're in that position against someone that clearly knows what he's doing when he grabs hold of that wrist.
Yeah, you know, guys are pretty good at collecting what they want, and if someone is scored on me in a certain position, there's a little bit of you that wants to stay away, and then there's a little bit of your own pride that wants to beat that position. So I don't know what he's thinking about, but certainly want to stay away from him if he's threatening. If he's turned me already once, definitely want to stay out of that position. Again, easier said than done.
Martin's been red hot. His last 5 bouts have been either a win by majority decision or tech fall.
Both of these young guys, sophomores, again, coming from a pretty storied high school program. Martin is from St. Paris, Ohio. Looks like he may have been teammates with Tanner Jordan at 125 pounds. Martin holding his arm here.
Yeah, crowd getting into it. Looked like Willichel had the notion to go neutral.
Yeah, he's wondering, you know, do I cut this guy and kind of push the pace and see if I can't gas him or get to some offense on top? If I'm not really getting any offense going on top right now, you know, I'm not really gaining anything. He's got to look for a turn, which he's close to here. Martin's head's awfully close to his knee. Got to watch out for that cradle, especially with a long guy like Willichel.
Minute left. Crowd crying basically for a stall.
Martin in.
Fireman's carry, we talked about it, almost
kind of falls into that
executed.
position, absolutely. Martin did a good job continuing wrestling. Goes up 11-2. Collects that cross wrist.
30 seconds left. Willichel trying to hold on here. Make sure this is just 3.
Good action here from Willichel as he almost earns the escape. 10 seconds left. Again, looks like Martin's going to secure riding time and go up 12-2. Secure the major.
10-3 overall. South Dakota will lead after fantastic performance by Alec Martin.
Alec
continues
Martin.
his
There
win
he
streak.
goes. Seems to stick his tongue out at the crowd. I love it. That's awesome. Those guys are, you know, they wanted to get him for stalling because he was a little slow back to the center, but he continued wrestling throughout the whole match. Certainly, I don't know if elevation got to him. If it did, he kind of bucked up and finished out the match like you want to see a warrior do.
157-pound Sloan Swan and Cale Swenson set to do battle.
Swan and
a
Swenson.
sophomore.
Swan and Swenson, freshman and sophomore. Again.
Swenson ranked 15th with 13-5 record. Swan, talk about length. He has it.
Yeah, he certainly does. It looks like he's got that low stance. Maybe he was looking for a low single there. See if he can't get back to it as he tries to pull Swenson's head underneath.
Swan earlier this year earned the ranked win, or rather a win over Oklahoma's John Wiley, who was at the time ranked 28th. The Tech Fall 16-1. That was back in December. He's been cooking since. Last 5 bouts have ended with Swan's hand in the air.
He's got momentum. coming off some a decent win streak here. Swan, again, not really hanging on, threatening that low single. Not crazy familiar with either of these guys' attacks, but certainly looks like they're ready for it. As Swenson, very nice knee pull, gets into his legs, but again, scramble ability from Swan, not conceding when he's losing that position.
Very quick reaction time by Swan, not giving up the 3 points there.
And falling into more of a neutral position that often ends in stalemate as Swan gains a little bit of advantage and then steps out, gets a fresh reset. Getting to these guys' legs at this level is hard. Finishing, it's like twice as hard.
Swenson had a chance, and Swan definitely, with a highlight reel escape almost.
Something you often see is when you're in this match, you know, your emotions are a little bit higher. When I'm pulling the trigger, you almost see a little bit of a pause when guys get that deep on their legs. It's almost like they surprise themselves and like, oh, I actually got here, and that's enough time for these guys, this level of athlete, to mount up a defense and keep points off the board.
Another good chess match here happening at 157, under 40 seconds in the first. A lot of tie-ups. As you mentioned, those level changes kind of being stopped in the moment when they do happen.
Again, Swenson in on a single as he elevates, again improves his position, separates his hands, doubles off to Swan and secures the takedown, 3 points with less than 10 seconds at the end of the period. Certainly something you wanted to avoid that late in the period. Swenson gains advantage.
Swenson goes up 3-0. Great patience, by the way.
My goodness.
He waited it out. Swenson will choose bottom here to start the second.
You know, thinking back to some of my matches when it's a tight match at the end of the first and you're hanging out ear to ear in your ties, kind of relax a little bit sometimes with 10 seconds. It looks, got to stay vigilant because some guys will sneak in and attack and finish quick, just like Swenson did. Again, got to stay focused and disciplined at the end of the period so guys don't sneak one in on you.
Closing period strong often ends up being the catalyst for a strong start as well. As we see Swenson trying to get off the ground here.
Had that leg in, had a Turk position really close, got overextended. Swenson wise to it, got his leg out and was able to earn the escape. Goes up 4-0, minute and 15 seconds left in the second. Swenson takes another peek at the clock, again under a minute. Can't let off the gas against this guy.
Swan, with all his length, feels like he's not doing a good enough job of changing his levels. It's kind of straightforward of attack.
Certainly want to look for more attacks, more offense. You got to create your own opportunities. Very rarely you're just going to fall into points. And when you're losing, it should look like you're losing. I'm pulling the trigger, hitting my knee, doing whatever I can to earn points, especially late in the period as we close out 20 seconds here, 157 pounds.
Well, Swenson picked up points to close the first. Swan realizing that, not going to give them up this time around. We'll go to the third with Swenson up 4-0.
Good escape takedown, ties this match up with that 3-point takedown. Kind of looked like a little bit of a jump start. Maybe there's a slight delay from what I'm looking at, but Swan pops up to his feet. Swenson concedes the escape point. And again, we put ourselves in a position where takedown ties it.
Swan does have the ride time on his side.
Again, Swan, Swenson, they're both doing a decent job of clearing out of that ear-to-ear position. You really want to see one of these guys follow that up with an attack, as we see Swan try to string together some hand fighting opportunities to get to Swenson's legs. The coach has always said, you know, your hands have a purpose, and your purpose isn't to hang out. Your hands got to do something. Both these guys doing a decent job hand fighting defensively as Swan gets in on a leg, gets extended. It's a tough position to finish here. Certainly can do it as it stalemates. Again, when you're down, short time left, can't afford to get extended and kill time. You got to think, I got to get to this guy's legs quick, and I have to finish quick. Swenson looking to put a nail in the coffin, blast doubles through Swan, finishes quick, and is definitely going to look to finish this period and this match on top.
That takedown at the end.
Not
really sealing the deal.
Not content with a 7-1 victory. Coach is telling him to cut him, thinking he could score with less than 20 seconds left in this waterfall position. Looking for bonus points here. Sloan did a great job defending that one. Great job, Swenson, showing his offense throughout the whole period, making an emphasis on scoring attempts at the end of periods. May have made the difference in that match.
So Cael Swenson picks up the victory here. There's that takedown. That was at the end of the first. And really the catalyst here for him to get the win as we move on to 165 pounds. Cooper Voorhees and Tanner Cook from South Dakota. As we're halfway through things here. Started off with a exciting competition between Jordan and Volk, two ranked opponents. Jordan had his hand raised there. And then we just saw Martin defeat Willichel, our second ranked matchup prior to Swan and Swenson. And here we go at 165 pounds, Cooper Voorhees and Tanner Cook.
Voorhees, as we may have mentioned on a few other duels, is the son of a former Wyoming Cowboy All-American, Brent Voorhees, his dad. While back, I'm not sure exactly when, but as a legacy myself, you know, putting on a singlet with the logo that your dad repped it's something special. So look for Voorhees to wrestle with some pride out there for more than just the Cowboys.
Voorhees has competed at 2 different weight classes this year. Has that been something that you've done in the past?
Yeah, you know, you want to do what you can for the team. There's some guy comes to mind, as you mentioned that a while back. There was a teammate of mine named Dewey Kruger who was a natural 157-pounder, but in one season recorded wins at 57, 65, 74, 84, and 97, which was amazing.
Wow.
So it's, you know, yes, I've bounced around weight classes. You can take it as a challenge. You know, you can take it as, hey, my coach believes in me. He believes I can get the job done at different weight classes, or you can take it like it's a big obstacle and let it affect your performance.
The mental strength you have to be able to compete at one weight class, let alone 2.
My goodness. Yeah, it takes a lot, which makes me have that much more respect for my boy Dewey Kruger. Graduated, like I said, got like 5 wins in 5 different weight classes. Amazing.
That's incredible. A lot of people around America are wondering how he was able to get down, by the way, to 97.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, we'll have to ask him. We'll have to bring him on a broadcast and maybe make
45
a
seconds remaining in the first here between Cook and Voorhees. A lot of hand fighting, tied ups.
A lot of hand fighting again. I've seen Voorhees make an attempt. I don't know if I'd call it an attempt. Not a whole lot of penetration. He's reaching his hand down and getting some good contact on that lead leg from Cook, who has a little bit of an unorthodox stance. He's standing a little tall for a lot of wrestlers and kind of reaching with his lead leg hand. Voorhees again slaps at that knee but doesn't bring any sort of penetration with it. There may be an opportunity there, but it's not going to come with just reaching your hand. Certainly you want to.
It does feel like Voorhees has an opportunity there to open up on that front leg, as you mentioned.
Certain amount of fakes could be too much.
Right.
Got to pull the trigger. You're right there. Looks like he had an idea of some opportunities to score. Cook didn't look very threatening. Again,
oh, wow.
That looked dangerous. That looked like something Cook was ready for.
Has the half in play now. He's going to try it again.
Here we go. Yeah, he's definitely comfortable in that crab ride position. He's got to be careful getting sucked back.
Grapevine of the left leg.
Again, staying heavy. Cook staying committed. Oh, that's going to be a dangerous one. Voorhees awarded the escape point. Loss of control going out of bounds. Cook likely confused. The challenge brick comes out. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a closer look at that one. What do you think?
I don't think that was a wise use of the challenge brick. But when you're on the other side of the mat, you don't get that great angle.
Not a great angle. There's, there's a cylinder out there. If they were all the way out, then it's a clean reset. I could see this one getting overturned.
At what point do you trust the wrestler that's in there, though, to not throw the challenge brick?
Gosh, that's a great question. I'm not sure. In a tight match, which this has been so far, halfway through the match, it's every point's gonna matter. Again, Cook has popped into the rankings every once in a while there, so he's definitely a formidable competitor. He's getting some advice from his coach. Again, if I'm coaching him up and we're in this position close to the edge of the mat, wrestle through it. Just stay on top and make it. Here, let's take a closer look here. They're out of bounds right now.
Right.
Oh, but I don't know. Maybe I saw Cook's foot stay in bounds. If he cleared it, I don't know if we're going to be able to see it from that angle.
That was a quick decision.
His foot, his toe may have stayed in. That's a tough call. Great call to make on the mat. Again, I understand why a brick was thrown out there, but
credit the officials getting it right in real time. Even with the replay, I'm still kind of hoping we get another shot of it.
Yeah, I want another angle. Let's go back. These guys don't want to go back. They want to get to action here.
Well, Cook was able to get coached up in between, and it did feel like he was gaining a little bit of momentum to start this period. Let's see if that continues.
He did. If I'm Cooper Voorhees and I'm watching Cook reach in a tall stance with his lead leg hand, certainly seeing an opportunity to penetrate on that leg. But you know what? Cook looks like he's ready for some sort of slick defense there. That may be something Voorhees is sensing out there. Looks like he's got that ability to score quickly.
Last 4 matches for Cook, he's been on the wrong end of it. 4-match losing streak for Cook.
Voorhees, on the other hand, it seems to be coming off of a little bit of. I think he won his last 3, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he's won his last 2, including a win against Derek Matthews of Northern Colorado.
It was a tough, gritty match. I was there for that one. It was nice to see Voorhees gut out a tight match against a worthy opponent.
Heading to the third, Voorhees up 1, and he'll start off on top.
Voorhees could not contain Cook's quick escape. Cook earns 1 point, ties the match up. Again, I haven't really seen much offense out of either of these guys.
Boy, it feels, you mentioned it early in that first period, it just feels like Cook's leg is there for the taking. Voorhees is able to just go all out and shoot for it.
It certainly looks like that. Again, it's hard. It's easier said than, sitting up here. It looks obvious. Voorhees may be feeling something different. Again, Cook seems to me to be that type of funky wrestler where it may be a bait out there. He might be sugarcoating that leg to sit the corner or get some of his funky scrambling ability involved. Again,
Voorhees went for the back leg and got it.
My goodness. Cook seems dangerous. He seems dangerous in all these positions. He looks like he's ready to threaten and throw his opponent and collect some points. Again, Voorhees staying tough, staying in very good position. I can see
40
this
seconds here in this period.
I can see this one getting closed out, maybe going to a ultimate ride out as Cook. It's his first real attempt towards a leg attack. And I'm not sure I'm going to see any of these guys take that much of a risk being tied up. 15 seconds left in the match.
It's a weird spot for Voorhees to be in. You want to get a win, but you also don't want to give away points by making a mistake.
It's risky.
Here this late.
Right. If you're down, sure, shoot for the fences. Again, against an opponent like Cook, you're running into the possibility of this guy throwing some funk at you.
Sudden victory, first one to score. We'll take this one in what has been a very technically sound matchup at 165 pounds. Crowd now into it.
Crowd back out of it.
The official wants to kill the buzz.
Come on. That's what, you hope you gain some energy out there. You got to feed this guy some life.
So the clock was wrong. That was the reason for the stop.
Oh, and there's the best leg attack that you've seen. Again, Cook looks dangerous. Looks like he was going to dump Voorhees. He hit a high flyer. That he is so close.
Here.
Oh, my gosh.
Pick it up. Smart by Cook, though.
Good job, both of these guys threatening that match-winning takedown as Cook dives in on a shot, the deepest attempt that he's had so far. Sucks it in and is gaining elevation.
Look out.
Crosses over. Voorhees wise to it. He's got to get the hips on top. Cook collects his other leg and finishes the takedown.
Wow. Voorhees tried his best there. He saved it. We were talking. He might have heard us saying, hey, go for the leg. It's time. Right. He finally did in sudden victory. Unfortunately for him, just not enough room on the edge of that mat.
Interesting. I'd really like to see both of these guys get in on an attempt like that during regulation, if that's what you should call it. You may be able to put more points up on the scoreboard. It's a tough thing to try to figure out your opponent's defensive abilities in overtime, but works out. An exciting matchup there.
Caden Short and Cade DeVos up next at 174 pounds. DeVos ranked third, a 14-1 record. So Short going to have his hands full here.
DeVos is up. I was watching some film. a while back. I saw a couple matches at NCAAs of him at 157 pounds, so he looks like he's gotten pretty big here as he gets in on the takedown fairly easily.
Not even 10 seconds in, 3 points to DeVos. DeVos has a streak right now of a technical fall, and a majority decision in his last 3.
Did I hit something?
Short, another one of the wrestlers on Wyoming that has wrestled this season at 2 different weight classes, 174 and 184 pounds. He's at 174 right now. And trying to shake DeVos right at this moment.
DeVos's experience is showing here. He's being very heavy on top, making Short carry all of his weight. Kind of showing why he's ranked 3rd here. Again, quick off the whistle, in on his attacks, and heavy on top. It's going to be difficult to get away from this guy as he gets a fresh reset. Coach Brandt's telling Short to keep his elbows in, stay away from any cross wrist dangers that DeVos is capable of. DeVos looking to optional start here.
Cuts him loose immediately. Feeling like he has the advantage here.
DeVos,
right down
beautiful takedown there.
Beautifully done.
Fakes one side, goes the other. Looks like he had maybe fingertips around Short's the back of his knee, and just sucks it into his body. Finished his takedown very fast. Impressive takedown there. Again, heavy on top. All of both of their weight on Short's hands.
This feels like a situation, I don't want to call it here CP, but it feels like a situation where DeVos feels like he get a tech fall. Plenty of time remaining.
Plenty of
It's
time.
just been dominant.
Yeah, absolutely. This guys like this, they like scoring. They like scoring. It's something Coach Branch kind of puts into our heads too. It's something that he had said for 5 years to me, is the great wrestlers are really out there only thinking one thing, and that's to score next. No matter what's going on, I'm looking to score next. If I get the takedown, looking to score on top. If nothing's happening, then I'm going to cut him and get another takedown. Something that DeVos seems to have.
Fifteen seconds remaining in the first period. It's been all DeVos. And Short with a lot to think about as we head to the second.
Great period for DeVos. Again, 2 shot attempts, 2 scores. You got to think this guy is going to want to get to his feet quick here and get in on another attack. If I'm a betting man, I'm betting DeVos gets a quick escape here and then turns around and fires off another shot immediately after escaping. Let's see if I'm right here. Good mat return by Short. Gets him back down, sucking him down. Very close to the edge, looking for a fresh restart here. Smart wrestling.
Short's showing some life. When you get dominated in the first period the way he did, it takes some mental toughness, doesn't it, to come back in the second and say, hey, I'm still in this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the best thing you can do, like I said, Coach Branson, I'm sure, has told these guys, again, if you're winning or losing, whatever position you're in, the only thing you should be thinking about is scoring the next point. Can't sit there and think about, like, oh, man, I lost that exchange, or I'm losing now. The situation can't affect your wrestling or mental state too much. So look for Short to stay in this match. He's got to put together some scoring attempts against a quality opponent. Awesome.
Tasting his own blood with the bloody nose.
I was wondering when that was going to get called.
Get an opportunity to clean him up. And also get coached up. Not a bad little timeout here for Coach Branch. Talk about some strategy.
Again,
Boss on the other end as well.
If you cut this guy 7-1, you get a takedown. 7-3. The match isn't out of reach here for Short. He's got a tall order, certainly, but it's not out of reach. It's certainly not in a super discouraging place for Short. DeVos setting up.
Boy, that can't be comfortable with that gauze in your nose, breathing through your mouth the entire time now against a competitor like DeVos, but it seems to have given Short some power, and as soon as I say that, DeVos gets the reverse.
Beautiful reversal, looks to his corner, probably going to go optional start here and cut Short. Look to keep putting points up on that scoreboard. Beautiful exchange there. DeVos hits that switch and comes out beautifully.
So the 2 points that Short has scored thus far have been escapes. As DeVos let him go.
Good action here from Short. Getting his head involved, fighting with his hands, moving his feet more. Certainly wise to DeVos's abilities to score and score quickly. As he stuffs a couple of DeVos's shot attempts and gets in on one of his own. Showing that fight that Coach Branch instills in his Cowboys.
CP, when you talk about the head movement and what it does to help prevent takedown attempts, what exactly are you looking for there?
Well, a lot of people think, if I ask, when I'm coaching my youth club, I ask them, what's your baseline defense? What's your number one defense? And overwhelmingly, the answer is the sprawl. Now that doesn't make a whole lot of sense as how I view it and how I've been coached to view it is a sprawl in your hips is the third line of defense. Number one defense is your head. If I stay in good position, you have to beat my head position to get to my arms, and then you have to go either through, around, or under my arms to then get to my legs where my sprawl and scramble abilities come into play. So keeping guys off my legs by staying in good position and, possibly sacrificing a modeling career by getting your face dinged up, it's gonna keep guys off your leg, especially late in the period when guys are really coming after you. It's your best line of defense, and I saw that out of Short there for a little bit as DeVos's attacks were just too much for him.
11-2 DeVos in front. He can model for gauze right now.
That's right.
That's stuck in his nose after
Yeah,
suffering from a nosebleed in the second.
And it's interesting to see, they take pictures sometimes at the end of the NCAA tournament of all these guys' faces, and overwhelmingly these guys are coming out with crooked noses, goose egg bruises, black eyes, because they've just gone through however many physical fights. They're catching knees, elbows, sometimes fists unintentionally.
DeVos has put pressure on Short throughout, and almost with another single. That's a great sprawl this time by Short.
Fantastic sprawls. DeVos is definitely going to look to stalemate this position. He doesn't look like he's building up looking for a score here, and he's content to do that. Those positions, it's tough. I got my opponent flattened out. Really, really would like to see Short try to break that grip and put some points up on the scoreboard. Again, doing a good job moving his feet. Staying aggressive as he can in this match.
And to your point, the head movement a lot better after the first period. That might have been something Coach Branch just whispered in his ear.
Like, hey, you just got to move. You just got to move out there. Make it a little harder for this guy to get to his attacks. As we say that, DeVos gets in on a single that Short's looking to stalemate definitely. And DeVos looks like he's going to be content with that up 11-3. Again, all it's doing is killing time.
The next point either way would be an important one.
It's really encouraging to see Short staying aggressive and looking like he's attempting some shots. Again, kind of swiping at his knees. DeVos in on a leg again. Not looking to just ride this match out. Not content with 11 points. Gets 3 more. He's certainly close to that tech fall realm that you were alluding to up front. He's certainly capable of that. Looks like he's going to go up, win this match with riding time secured, 15-3 with 5 seconds left.
So land the match in a position of strength and get his hand raised here. A 15-3 victory. And boy, Cade DeVos has been putting on a show all year long. Has only lost 1 match this season. That came to Shane Griffith of Michigan.
Shane Griffith,
here's a
former
look at his
NCAA champ again. Didn't get to see the rest of that takedown, but my goodness, that was a clinic on takedowns.
Ethan Duca and Bennett Berge, sorry.
Berge, yep, there you go.
184 pounds.
Berge's got some, if I'm not mistaken, some freestyle and Greco experience. I hear that he was a world team. Did he get a bronze medal at some point this last season? Heard something along those lines. If I'm mistaken, forgive me. Berge, certainly a formidable opponent. Up against the Wyoming Cowboy Ethan Duca, who's just making his return from a slow start to the season. Only has 5 matches so far.
Berge was a fantastic high school wrestler in the state of Minnesota. Won 5 consecutive individual state titles at 5 different weight classes, 138, 160, 170, 182, 195. And had a record of 124-1 over his final 3 seasons. Man is near unbeatable.
Wow. And for those who are confused by that 5-time state champ stat, there are some states where you are allowed to wrestle for a state championship, for a high school state championship, when you are in 8th grade, which is amazing at 138 pounds as an 8th grader. That's a big dude. A lot of times you see those 5-timers in the states where that's allowed sneak one in at those lower weights. That's at around a middleweight in high school. That's very impressive.
We talked about it off air, not on air, but Berge's older brother on the coaching team as a volunteer assistant. He wrestled at Penn State. So a lot of talent in this Berge family.
Gosh, I wonder how that dynamic is at practice. Big brother, little brother.
And then you mentioned the medal. It was a silver medal at the U20s in 2022. He went all the way to Bulgaria to bring it home for the United States. They don't do pounds over there. It's 86 kilograms. So
yeah, freaking, I don't want to do the math. No thanks.
I'd like to get weighed in kilograms every now and then myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds a lot better.
Again, Berge and Duca having a good little bit of a shoving match here as they hand fight. Great head block. And I haven't really seen a strong leg attack out of these guys, but the 184-pounders are fighting like 184-pounders.
Both these are quick on their feet. Saw the level change, both competitors.
Berge bleeding a little bit. Again, not a whole lot of matches this year for Duca. Gotta get used to those match type environments, getting ready, going into only a few more competitions left before the Big 12 tournament. Certainly want to cement your place, maybe secure a qualifying bid there for NCAAs. Great opportunity here against a quality opponent.
Does feel like the season is flying by. We're about a month away from tournament time.
I think the Cowboys have 2-3 more duels, only two more duels, and then one tournament here before they they break off for conference training, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Jackrabbits are on the road for the rest of their dual season. So
North Dakota State and Oregon State coming to Laramie. And the Jackrabbits, as they look to try and close out a undefeated Big 12 season, are at Utah State, at Oklahoma State to close the year. Not easy.
No, certainly not easy. It's gonna have a tough time in the rest of the Big 12's getting very competitive all the way around, and you love to see it as a wrestling fan. So much attention put on the Big 12 sometime, or Big 10 rather. Love to see the Big 12 secure some respect at the national tournament. Again,
this feels like it would be the year.
Yeah, it's certainly competitive. Missouri, Oklahoma State, South Dakota State, the top 3 in the Big 12 right now. All formidable opponents. Formidable teams, rather.
No points either way as we start the second. And Duca will start on the bottom with Berge going to gain at least a second of riot time, you would think.
Might pick up a few here. Oh, very risky from Duca from a tripod to switch inside like that, not clearing his inside leg. Very risky. Gets flattened out here as a result, and Berge looks like he's very heavy on top with that tight waist.
With South Dakota State leading overall 20-3, you might as well take a shot if you're Duca.
Might as well, nothing to lose here, and there he goes. Beautiful. Granby attempt, looking for that reversal, but is content with the 1-point escape. So
fans at home might be saying, "Hey, all that work for 1 point? Are you kidding me?"
It's a lot of action for 1 point, but as Berge's in on a double leg and finishes beautifully,
nice.
No hesitation, just keeps driving through. Let's look for Duca to try to score here with a minute left in the second period. It's going to be difficult to do it on his elbows. Again, a lot of work for that escape, like you had mentioned. See a lot of my youth wrestlers pursue a reversal in those positions, and you risk not getting out at all for 2 points, where sometimes you got to think it may be smarter to just focus on your escape and get a takedown where you could potentially have a 4-point swing.
Feels like Duke is trying to set him up for another opportunity to do the exact same thing.
Certainly
Right
is.
Hip keeps slipping out.
He's got to get that left foot cleared if he wants to try to Granby again. Otherwise, he risks throwing himself to his back. 16 seconds left here. Look for both wrestlers. Again, Berge's going to look to keep this guy down and end the period scoring last. Look for Duca, get to his feet quick and score short time.
Duca trying to time that whistle. How successful were you at timing the referee's whistle?
Very unsuccessful. Very, very unsuccessful. But you could try to jump that. You have a caution to give. Sometimes it's okay to use some of those cautions.
Right.
Sometimes these refs aren't, they don't want to call it. If you time it up just a little before, they'll let it slide sometimes. So I'd like to say, yeah, I was awesome. I got out every time. Just wasn't the case, unfortunately.
Berge's going to get some more work done. He's up 4-1 as we head to the third. And Coach Branch trying to figure out how to get some more points on that scoreboard, down 20-3. 2 more bouts remaining after this.
So the dual win is out of reach now. You're really looking for is to see your wrestlers put out a fight and look to score points. Again, more individual work here as the team win is out of reach. Berge earns the escape, goes up 5-1 with a riding time point likely secured. Fantastic re-attack there from Berge. Duca still fighting this switch. Got to be careful here as Berge. Berge looks like he's got this Turk locked up. Don't want to extend this lead.
In this position, he had the leg grapevine. What was he looking for? We know the tilt, but
you really want to get a little more perpendicular rather than parallel in that position, because you see the knee slides out a little bit. So again, you have that cross, that Turk position locked up. Going and giving attention more towards the head can sometimes make you lose the position altogether. Again, great action here that ends in a look like a potential dangerous position. Is what the ref called.
back to neutral here with 40 seconds remaining in the third.
Yeah, nothing to lose here. Look for Duca to throw the kitchen sink at Berge. Again, nothing to take away from Berge. Berge looks like he's going to get in on another re-attack opportunity there. And he does just that. Great example of chain wrestling. Defend that natural reaction to pop in on a shot that was defended and then switch attacks to the other leg. Fantastic exchange there from Berge.
It looked like Duca maybe, as you mentioned, hasn't wrestled a ton this year. Maybe a little bit of ring rust.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this guy has got maybe 15 matches or so, and you only got 5. It's something you got to get back into. You know, don't know why Duca's been out, but it's certainly now is the time to get that match experience. Get another look at that beautiful exchange from Berge, chain wrestling, attacking one side, going the other. Certainly something you want to show the kids back at home. The benefits of chain wrestling and tying attacks together, not just taking one shot and then backing out.
197 pounds, Tice Radin and Tanner Sloan. Sloan ranked 5th. Another ranked opponent here for Wyoming.
Again, Tanner
13-1.
Sloan, yes. Let me see. Yeah, Tanner Sloan, 13-1 is one loss coming to the gentleman from Maryland, I believe, out in Vegas. Otherwise, he's a returning national finalist, All-American from South Dakota State. Taking on Tice Radin, the transfer from Western Wyoming. Getting into the lineup here at 197 pounds.
Stepping up big time in competition, as you mentioned, Tanner Sloan. Terrific wrestler at 197 pounds. The one loss you mentioned on his record, Jackson Smith got him from Maryland.
Oh, that's right. It was Smith. That was a tight match. I think it was a tight match until Sloan maybe gave up some near fall, but has been on a tear ever since, and he secures this takedown on Tice Radin again in that front headlock position. Not content with a stalemate, just continuing to pursue that angle and staying heavy on top.
His last match was Quick Work. Beat Calvin Sund of Air Force in 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And here's another opportunity where he makes quick work.
There it is. Very quick work. Locks up the cradle. Tice Radin had no answer for that. The pressure that Sloan brought to him. Great performance.
The definition of we do not get paid by the hour.
That's right. If I don't have to wrestle 7 minutes, why would you? At elevation, come on. Again, beautiful attack there. Showing why this guy's made the finals, looking to make the finals again. Again, 97, going to be tough, certainly capable, ranked 5th.
Heavyweight time, last but not least, Bradley Moore and Luke Rasmussen. Rasmussen ranked 27th, 12-8, and Moore 0-1 on the year.
Moore had his debut against Northern Colorado last week, and he had Wyoming's bench exploding. They, in a typical heavyweight fashion, they were interlocked in a body lock, and Moore threw his opponent to his back, almost got the fall, got the takedown, got a full count, and then ended up getting thrown himself. But again, certainly a guy that's capable of taking his shots and putting himself in the position to win these matches.
So good test for him in his second bout of the season. As you mentioned a week ago, it was Andrew Blackburn that saw Bradley Moore.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I was there, and Blackburn did something awesome, which I think we need more of in the sport. He shot like his pistol repeater with his finger pointed at the Wyoming bench, getting back at him, shooting him down. I love to see that kind of stuff. You don't get that many opportunities to celebrate in this sport, and so when you get a win, in my opinion, you should take them. Get the crowd going a little bit, you know.
Especially when you do it in 1 minute and 17 seconds.
That's right. Again, more an opportunity against Rasmussen here at home now. 1 minute down. Go ahead.
Yeah. Rasmussen's last outing was against Wyatt Hendrickson, who is no joke. And
my goodness,
he lost by fall.
Wyatt Hendrickson, that's not a normal heavyweight.
Absolutely not.
I'm not counting him as a typical heavyweight. He doesn't count.
Chance you see him at the Olympics one year?
I certainly hope so. He's capable. He's certainly in the conversation. Again, that heavyweight competition for the Olympic spot and world team members is extremely competitive. You gotta think Gable Stevenson has to not be in the equation for him to have a shot. No, taking nothing away from Hendrickson. As Rasmussen gets in on a beautiful takedown here and staying heavy in this claw with a leg on. It's not really something I see much out of heavyweights. I'm pleasantly surprised at Rasmussen to be throwing legs and sitting in this crab position.
Trying to get shoulders down, and Moore did a good job of fighting in a very precarious position right now.
That's right. This is a position that I myself loved, but again haven't really seen heavyweights in this situation too often. Again, Moore's doing a good job staying calm, building his position up, and putting Rasmussen in a little bit of a danger position here. At some point, you want to see him let go of that leg as he's holding himself there with a big swing back as Rasmussen looks familiar, holding on to his own shin, just holding on tight there.
It's 10 seconds left in the period. You got to go for it.
Got to go for it. Rasmussen definitely okay with hanging on to the lead with 10 seconds left.
Moore had a chance for a reverse and then close that first with some momentum. They'll start the second down 3 and a mountain to climb on the ride time side.
Hopefully you can chip away at some of that riding time here on Rasmussen as he collects that wrist beautifully with a lot of pressure down. Moore competing very well for his second outing as a Cowboy, the redshirt sophomore out of Fairfield, California.
Looked like he's learned from his last outing.
Yeah, maybe, get a little excited out there, throw somebody to their back right away, and that oftentimes can can get your adrenaline going, and then it's dumped, and then you have nothing. So, again, look for Moore to build some of that experience up, and it already looks like he's made adjustments. Doing a great job.
Great job by Moore.
Getting rid of that riding
close.
time. He's very close to some near fall. Got to be aware of the danger there, getting too tall. Really want to stay behind those arms as Rasmussen scrambles out and then concedes very, very risky position. Moore comes out on top.
Rasmussen on the bottom does have the wrist.
He's got I can't tell from this angle. Does he got his hip locked up? He does. It's going to be hard for him to hip heist.
Moore trying to close the show here.
Yeah, he's got this cradle locked up. He's definitely dangerous here. Getting some swipes. Got one at least. With short time, you really got to go for it here. If I'm Moore, got to put this guy to his back. Again, I've negated. Opportunity missed, but great period there as he rides Rasmussen out.
Moore looks exhausted. That might come back to the fact is this is his second bout of the year. You can see him breathing heavily.
Again, he may be tired, but I guess he senses that Rasmussen is even more tired as he says, I'm going to go on my feet and go chase this takedown.
And why not?
Why
2 minutes
not?
left here.
Why not? You know you're capable of it. You just threw a guy to his back last week. Let's see some of that.
Rasmussen is exhausted. Can Moore dig deep? Get some points here. South Dakota State obviously won the duel.
Love to see
Wyoming, you're trying to get momentum for the rest of the Big 12.
Oh, Rasmussen gets the ankle and drives over. Had an opportunity there
done.
to keep weight down on Rasmussen, but Rasmussen does a great job of getting his head up and driving Moore over that foot, getting weight down on that other hip, and is in all likelihood locked up this match for himself as he slips a leg in. Probably content with just hanging out in this position as he did at the end of the first period. Again, Moore was in a position to reverse Rasmussen. So if I'm Rasmussen's coach, I'm telling him just stay on top. No need to go to that hip.
He's
just
trying to
ride this guy out.
Look out.
Again.
Almost able to drive his shoulders into the mat there.
Comes up, the duels won. You're maybe looking for some bonus points. His coaches are pushing him, telling him it's not okay for you to only win by 6. Let's go continue to push and score for the rest of the period. Love that out of coaches.
20 seconds remain in the third. And what a way to close the show here as both competitors exciting the crowd.
Absolutely.
Moore with the takedown.
Takedown by Moore, maybe in a position to get some near fall, but then
gave up the points.
Gives up a reversal. Great fight out of Moore. Great job, Rasmussen, getting the better of him this time, 8-4. Great match at heavyweight. Exciting one. Not a typical boring heavyweight match that you see. No offense against heavyweights. That was awesome.
Let's take a look at some of the action. The excitement was definitely in this one.
Moore's a gamer. Rasmussen too, but gosh, you love to see that willingness to put yourself in danger out of the big guys.
So another victory here for South Dakota State. As we take a look at the overall results tonight, man, Jordan Volk. That's one you could go back and watch. That was fun. Martin.